So let's have a look at business ethics and professionalism. Now, before that, we need to understand what the word ethics mean. So you have a definition there. It is the study of the nature of morals and choices. And it is from the Greek word ethos, that means character. So if you are a person of character, you will behave ethically. So how do we assure that we are indeed acting ethically? You choose to do the right thing. You will choose on principle between two right choices, if neither one is obviously wrong. You will do the right thing when no one is looking. And you will actually be studying moral principles concerning rightful behavior. Now you would say to me, man, when do I ever study moral principles concerning rightful behavior? Well, I guess when you read the Bible, when you go to church, if you're not a Christian, when you go to mosque, things like that. Okay, so all of us are really students of moral principles regarding rightful behavior. Okay. Other definitions, just so that you don't get confused between the different terms. What is morals? Morals is judging the goodness or badness of actions and character. Okay, so you look at somebody committing corruption and you say that is bad. Okay. Values are moral principles or beliefs. It's against my values, that's why I don't do it. Business ethics are simply ethical decision making by business. Wow, I don't know why I must put I forgot a word there. So it's ethical decision making hyphenated by businesses. Okay, that's better. A professional code of conduct is the written rules on ethical behavior that you will find in an organization. And then professional behavior is conforming to the standards of a profession. But now, all of that is good and well, but the problem is that because we have diversity, it complicates agreement on ethical behavior, but there are some universal principles, and one of those universal principles would be do unto others as you would like them to do unto you. That's a universal principle. But yeah, some things in certain societies are more important than others, and so it especially comes here choosing on principle between right choices. The diversity will complicate that. Ethics in accounting. Well, in the accounting industry, there is an insistence on integrity, honesty, ethical behavior, and professionalism. And there are certain professional bodies that guide the industry. SAICA, IRBA, CIMA, ICBA, and SAIPA. I've just told you what each of those are. So SAICA is the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants. IRBA is the Independent Regulatory Board for Auditors. CIMA is the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants. Then you have the one that you are free to join anytime you want, the Institute of Certified Bookkeepers and Accountants. And then SAIPA, the South African Institute of Professional Accountants. And everybody, all these got caps, except professional. So let me quickly change that. Okay. There are also certain laws that affect accounting, and I just mentioned three there. The Financial Advisory and Intermediary Service Act of 2002 or 5, and that act is a code of conduct and qualification for advisors, and it sets out the duties of advisors and service providers, so that somebody cannot just give you financial advice and there's no consequence. Then the Financial Intelligence Act of 2001, or FICA, is to combat money laundering, and that is why you have to fill in the forms when you take out a cell phone contract. And then the Competition Act of 1998, which protects against abuse of dominance, and that guides mergers and acquisition, so that you don't wake up one day to find out that Pick n Pay and ShopRite has now merged and decided to double their prices. Okay. Yeah, so just the story I want to tell you about this is that apparently about 10 years ago, I think it's about 10 years ago now, there were guys from one of the big four accounting firms, let me not identify which one it is, who had, these guys passed their second board exam. Now, if you know how chartered accounting works, there are 2 board exams. You have to do your degree and then you do your internship. And then there's the first board exam and then the second board exam. And if you passed both those board exams, by the time you pass the second one, then you can operate as a chartered accountant and start to make the big money. So these guys on achieving a pass in the second board exam, they went out for the night to celebrate the achievement, as you do. Before Uber, or maybe there was Uber, they didn't get one. No, it was before Uber, and got drunk and got pulled over by the police, the 2 drivers of the 2 vehicles, and were found guilty of driving under the influence. Criminal records, you cannot operate or be a member of SAICA if you have a criminal record. And so those guys, after 7 years of studying and working to be chartered accountants, they can never work as a chartered accountant, because that's just the rules of SAICA. Okay, so yeah, these types of things can sometimes have very, very serious consequences. And then just this table about the impact of ethics on accounting issues. So just the topic there, and the topic are just really accounting topics and then the related ethical issues. So non-current assets and asset disposal, unauthorized use of non-current assets is the related ethical issue. It's wrong. Kerwin, forgot what I forget. And not disclosing profits when assets are sold because they must be taxed. So those are all things that, so doing any of those things on the right is really what we would call cooking the books. So partnerships, one partner works harder than the other, that would be unethical. One partner makes excessive drawings from the business, that would be unethical. Okay. Cash transactions and bank recon, theft of cash is picked up during bank reconciliation, especially petty cash, easy to steal from petty cash, except I guess when Lelu is your accounting officer. Don't think it will be easy for anybody in our organization. Ask for a receipt when paying cash, otherwise it is pocketed without being reflected in the books. Budget and manufacturing costs, wage increases are budgeted for. So make sure that you do budget for those. The cheaper raw materials means more profit. I do not think there's any ethical problem with that. It's called the leverage effect of purchasing. If you acquire raw materials at a discount rate and you give that discount rate through to your customers, maybe this table will call you ethical. I will call you a fool. But inferior raw materials can mean to more profit, to more problems and less profit. So yeah, cheaper materials, no problem. Inferior materials, big problem. If you use inferior materials, that is when buildings collapse 40 years later. Okay. Inventory systems and inventory valuations, it reduces theft, and incorrect valuations can affect profit. And then, of course, VAT, failure to pay VAT is an offence, illegal to charge VAT on exempt or zero rated items. So that table, you're just going to look at that, you're going to read through it, and you're